We took the foes off the Chevy and we sat it on those sixes. The stick on the rims, got the rims blowing kisses. They know what it is, don't know what it is. We know what it is, she know what it is. 20 rubber bands, you can get yourself up. Bring another band, get yourself up. They know what it is, don't know what it is. We know what it is, she know what it is. 26 of shots on the sand and one should feel like a wine carousel. Shout it, I can't parallel. They say shout it, give a mail. Shout it, I'ma give a mail. $250,000 worth of jewelry like that. Boy, can't even care about no money, by no car, by no. Boy, you better hold your nose, cause I'm hold your get a Louis back for what? Up in that swag, I got 50,000 cash in a brown Kroger bag. We took the foes off the Chevy and we sat it on those sixes. The stick on the rims, got the rims blowing kisses. They know what it is, don't know what it is. We know what it is, she know what it is. It's Ricky. 20 rubber bands, you can get yourself up. Go back on the flying on your rings. They know what it is, don't know what it is. We know what it is, she know what it is. I'm feeling like we on a plane, it must be how we taking off. You feeling like a lane, we shout it with me, shout it, take it off. Run up on me if you won't have time to make a call. Get up to my dog in case I break him off. Putting mileage on my, yeah, we call that hating. Talking fast, count cash, take. Never wear, but where I'm from, we call that living fast. CEO of Maybach Music, but I need no limit cash. Master P, I'm with the Puerto Rico, see Gordito, Flawless. In the game, can the player shoot a free throw? Swish. I'm speaking the facts, it's deeper than rap. Paid off the Maybach and I did it 3 weeks in the
took the foes off the Chevy and we sat it on those sixes. The stick on the rims, got the rims blowing kisses.
They know what it is, don't know what it is. We know what it is, she know what it is.
20 rubber bands, you can get yourself up. Bring another band, get yourself up.
They know what it is, don't know what it is. She know what it is.
And it's a trend you better follow when they running like a lotto. If you hear a model, and ballin' is my motto. Just the truth and you can swallow what I said. I'll take out. I'm in that Monte Carlo, so I'm in that Murcielago. Lamborghini got these breezes tripping, feeling that they need me just to see me or be with me in that Dickie bikini. But I really ain't that needy. If you wanna kick it with me, girl, then one them pour a glass of that martini.
We took the foes off the Chevy and we sat it on those sixes. The stick on the rims, got the rims blowing kisses.
They know what it is, don't know what it is. We know what it is, she know what it is.
20 rubber bands, you can get yourself up. Bring another band, get yourself up.
They know what it is, don't know what it is. We know what it is, she know what it is.
Block in the chain, Maybach Music. Yeah.
I didn't. I never did see such a good example of the bullet hitting one of these metal targets. Compact 45, that's another really great option. Should they be widely available? I want one, and I believe I deserve to have a compact 45, but at the same time, I don't have a compact 45. Should compact 45s be restricted? It's such a big caliber, and you're able to conceal it. Compact, and it's so small. Should a 45 be such a big gun that you really have to show open carry it and show for it and all that, or sort of it's such a sort of a luggy type of gun? But the compact allows the 45 to not be so much of a luggage with how big it is. Maybe one day I'll get a compact 45. As of now, I have a big 45 revolver, but I know some people that do have compact 45s down in the United States. So I would feel very privileged to be able to own a one of those compact 45s. It's a really fascinating technology, not just the 45, but then also that 45 compact. And then altogether with the handgun technology. Well, not just 45 compact, the handgun technology altogether, but then there is that also the compact technology on top of it. But then they also have some ones that are all different calibers and what have you. But we're talking about 45s the most because I just bought a 45. So we were talking 45 ACP, that's center fire 45 caliber, one of the largest calibers for handguns. As you may know, Desert Eagle 50 caliber and all that's larger. But 45 is more popular for carrying a handgun, whether it be concealed or open carry, but generally 45s are able to be concealed, such a large caliber, and they're still able to be concealed, which is nice for the legal gun owner. They have all different variations of the 45. There was a 45 auto, the ACP. Then there's a few other ones, I believe, as well. Then you have the 1911s. They're really beautiful. They're all metal. It's kind of like a MacBook, but with the guns. They're all metal. The slide's metal. Whereas some cheaper guns, which are still nice guns, but when we're talking materials, just like you have some really good laptops, my main laptop's made out of plastic, but I love my all metal MacBook, and it has its separate purpose. The Glock 45s are all polymer or whatever with metal slide, whereas those 1911s are completely metal parts with usually bone or wood, expensive wood or bone grips. You can get all different custom grips for those 1911s, but they're all metal, and I think that's what the purpose is for those. And they were FBI. They're a highly reliable, high quality 45 handgun with a really nice slide that's metal on metal, believe it or not. They have a nice technology for their all metal blowback. Well, of course, it's blowback. So it's if you're thinking guns, that's what's so special about that 1911 is that it's an all metal or what have you, real 45. But there's a lot of other ones that are like that too. I think that's a Desert Eagle. And they have a whole different variation of slide on these. I believe it's a patented slide for this one company that manufactures the Desert Eagle or the Deagle. But I did see, I believe it or not, I did see a malfunction of that gun before. I can't remember what video it was, how it malfunctioned with that 50 cal. But any gun, I mind you, can malfunction. And even without malfunction, I also recommend that you do not put anything around the ejection or the cylinder area where it fires and everything, not just in front of the barrel, but around the firearm. I seen the other day an example where they put a paper target next to the cylinder where the combustible materials they will ventilate through the sides before the bullet enters the barrel or the chamber or what have you. Well, it's in the chamber. It's the gases that come outside of the chamber when the cartridge is discharged. You also want to make sure that your face or your hands or anybody else's um, person or even property or whatever is not anywhere near the sides. You also want to be safe to where the sides are from your own person as well as others because it does discharge the combustible stuff that goes out the side. It really can do life-threatening damage. So some people don't know. They think, can you aim the revolver close to your face? No, it's not supposed to be close to your face. It's supposed to be an arm's length out from you while you're holding on to the firearm because this can really hurt you. It could even blow your nose off. It's so powerful. So you want to watch the side of the firearm while you're discharging it, not just the front barrel that will fire the projectile or project the bullets outside of the barrel. So that's a good information if you didn't know. You also want to watch that, not just the front where it projects the bullet. You can have stuff like this. It very rarely happens. You want to ensure that you have the proper ammunition that you're using with the firearm that you have designated, whether you own it or, well, generally, if somebody's letting you use it, they would already be professional enough, you would think, or at a range for sure. When you're dealing with the ranges, the professional ranges, they have the most wonderful range officers and staff over at the range that loads it up and all that. They know. But you want to make sure that you have the correct loadouts for your gun. Any small, even a small calibral difference could be could be a factor in a malfunction. So, say your gun was designed for a 22 Magnum WMR, and you put, or sorry, say your gun was only designed for a 22 LR long range, and you put a 22 MR in it, or WMR, sorry, and that probably would cause an issue. Maybe no, maybe it would, maybe it would, but even that could cause a malfunction. It has a if it would even fit in it. There's certain calibers that may fit, but the bullet's bigger and what have you, or vice versa. There's so many different calibers. You have to watch it. That's why the government, they want to individualize. They want to make sure that each gun. You don't want to have too many guns because you have to sit there and determine exactly what your guns are capable of safely firing and whatnot. And sometimes that happens when you just have so many different, or you're not properly uh, being caring for your gun ownership. When you properly care for your gun ownership, you'll know exactly which caliber that you should be, or I mean, which ammunition cartridges that are compatible with the firearm that you are going to be using. So that's when that kind of stuff can happen, and it could just potentially destroy your entire firearm. But not only that, it's a very big safety issue. It could hurt you or hurt others around you, or it could also be detrimental or whatever if in the times that you would need to use it. So it takes time. Takes time to analyze and identify exactly which. When you buy, especially when you're first buying your firearm or using or whatever may be the case, generally at the range and you're just sort of using for fun or leisure when you're doing your little package to go for a fun shoot, you might learn a little bit about calibers. But when you buy your own firearm and you have to go to the store or what have you, or reload, especially when you start to learn about the actual. Well, I always was a believer that you should learn the actual fundamentals of the ammunition before you are able to purchase. But as we may know, in a lot of places, you can still purchase ammunition without knowing the fundamentals of it. But that's the purpose of this video, is to sort of learn some fundamentals. The cartridge is a multifaceted device that's called ammunition. It has a couple different. You can just buy it from the store, but you can also manufacture your own ammunition. It's a certain technology. You have a brass casing. You have the bullet that everybody knows, that's famous because the bullet gets projected. And then you have the powder inside, you have the primer, and you learn how the gun works, right? It gets it into the chamber, and then it's something, whether it be a firing pin or what have you, it presses down onto the primer and all that, and then it lights the primer, and the primer ignites the powder, which then explodes or what have you, pretty much. And it doesn't explode too much because the brass casing generally, well, it's supposed to, because you're only supposed to have a recommended or a certain amount of powder, black powder, the other powders, the smokeless and what have you. There's through science and all that, they've determined how much powder is to be used, right? With the gunsmiths, but not only that, but the people that use the firearms too. Through science, they've determined, and when you buy the ammunition from the store, generally Winchester and all that, they have, well, it's all listed on the box. Same as the caliber and as well as the weight with the grainage of the bullet and yada yada. You can have higher grains or lower grains, but same with the amount of powder within the casing. But then, as just as you can buy the boxes of the pre-made ammo, you can manufacture your own ammunition by buying the bullets, the casing, the primer, and the powder separately. Everybody knows that you can do that anywhere. In the United States, you can do that here in Canada. To buy ammunition in the store, in the United States, you don't need a license. Anybody 18 or over can go buy it. In Canada, you need a license to be able to buy the boxes of pre-made ammunition. That was an agreement. They said if somebody wants ammunition, they can reload it themselves. They can get it from a grandfather. They can get it. And what grandfathering means, it means not just a grandfather, but anybody that's a higher up in the system with a RPAL, whether it be family, friend, or other. You could get ammunition from them, whether it be a gift or whether it be a trade. But then you can also reload, because they say reload because it's actually means the term manufacture. You can manufacture your own ammunition and use the parts and the equipment legally without a license, but you just can't buy the pre-made manufactured ammunition from the store. Now, how they see it and how the bad the recession is, whereas if you're somebody that can reload, where you're a standard reloader, you're basically considered a manufacturer of ammunition. So that's how high up you are. If you reload your ammunition, you're a manufacturer, just like Winchester or Smith and Wesson or whatever. That's how high. I don't reload. Can't afford it. So you can see how high up I am compared to how high up you are. I do videos. I have my own whole life, but reloaders are very similar to, they have their own high ranking, because I have to buy my ammunition from a reloader, because you have to have this equipment, you have to have a large amount of property and space or whatever, and time and knowledge and equipment and all that to be able to be a manufacturer of ammunition. But I support it in the reloading and the law and all that because, well, I have to get ammunition legally some way. And I have to rely on the higher ups, which are guys and women or men, that are licensed to be able to manufacture ammunition in this country of Canada. Because we're not in the United States, this is our system. And I have to be a firearm owner with the capability of the ammunition here in Canada to be safe. And so that's why I support the reloading and I support that law. But at the same time, I support the regulation of the factory ammunition with the best prices, to where you need to be licensed, what they call PAL, possession acquisition. You need to be a licensed carrier of that to be able to go buy your multi. As everybody knows, and if you don't, there's a whole more than a catalog full of different ammunitions that you're able to purchase where you do not have to actually reload. A lot of people have gotten so far ahead of themselves that they've forgotten, or maybe they didn't even know, that it actually was originally you would just like the cowboys, and Indians, you would have to people would manufacture their own um, ammunition and all that. It wasn't until modern times uh, did they have these large companies to where now that people will purchase the large boxes of the factories, right? The factories manufacture the Remington, the Winchesters, and the Fiat and others. But the technology originally, a man or a woman would actually have to load their own casings with the bullets and the powder and the prime. So that is what it originated, and it doesn't go much further other than the licensed carriers with the unlimited access to the factories of ammo with, well, the prices are so decent on when you have your license that basically you have special privileges. Your license gives you special privileges to access more ammunition, virtually unlimited ammunitions, to go shooting with friends, to go hunting, to have for self-defense, for just shooting all together. It came to an abundance. The word would be abundance. Ones had ammunition in such abundance that they would just go out and root and toot and shoot. That is the definition of prosperity. But at the same time, I guess there was ones that got way out of hand and they forgot that there is prosperity, but then there's also to remain humble and lawful and to understand the system. So you had ones that I was all for just shooting your guns for fun and to prove a point and all that, because there is times for that, and times for that, do come up in a responsible fashion. Was always how it is legally. You're allowed to shoot for celebration if it's done responsibly. Some people do. They do not just pictures, but believe it or not, they do fire their firearms responsibly for celebration. But like we say, and a lot of people say, it's supposed to be done highly controlled and very responsibly, because not everybody in the country or the world is a gun owner. So you're supposed to respect that, that not everybody has that mind state. And I think that only guys and even women that have guns or whatever, they should be able to understand that not everybody is one of those type of individuals, and they should be able to respect that. And if they can't do that, then how can they own a gun in our society? Because they'll just be one of those really bad people that we see on the news, like CNN or something, that just don't understand society, and then they hurt people, members of our society. So that's our job, is to continue to not only develop videos, but other systems of responsibility to ensure the safety of our world when we will have guns in it.